Hey y'all, Monk Joseph here with the Broken Buddha. Today I'm going to talk about step 2 of becoming a yoga qigong expert in 6 steps, and that's going to be opening the qua as in the plural sense and balancing yin and yang. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. If you've seen, there's a video similar to this that's in its place right now. I will put that as an associated video in this one so you can go check on that one to see if I miss any details. But let's start with what is a qua. If you ever studied either kung fu or qigong and somebody said to flex your glutes or squeeze your butt cheeks or push your pelvis forward, what they're trying to get you to do is to open up the qua in your groin. And if you do it, don't just flex your glutes and think that's it. You should feel something in your groin open up energetically, much like yawning in the morning, that same chi feeling I talked about in the second chi feeling video. So there's more than one of those gates in your body. Obviously, you have your 3 gates, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But these are different. You have 2 in your armpit, you have 1 in your groin. Arguably, depending on what you're doing, I mean, when you open up your Lao Gong, you're opening that gate, and it's not exactly the same as a qua, but you'll feel the energetic opening. So let's jump right into the stance. We'll start with structure, and then we'll take it from there. So you're going to want to stand, you're going to want to feel your majority of your center of gravity over top of the front of the back of your foot. All right, so here's my heel, here's the rear of the heel, and here's the front of the heel. That's where you want to feel the pressure. Now obviously your whole foot's going to be on the ground and you want to be balanced. But that's where you want to feel the majority driving into the ground. And you want to be careful as you're adjusting, as I'll explain here in a second, because sometimes when you're too far forward, you'll feel the pressure in your calves, and if you're too far back, you'll feel the pressure in your shins. But sometimes when you feel that pressure, you don't need to lean. You need to pull up on your iliopsoas muscles here, which is what you're trying to do in the first place when you're opening your quad. So pushing the glutes forward is just like an initial stage of being able to pull up with your psoas to open the quad. Eventually, I would argue that you would want to have like a 50-50 pushing and pulling, or you should just be strictly hanging by the ability to pull up on your iliopsoas. So there's that. When you're rooting, don't always think that, oh, I'm too far forward, I'm too far back. You may just need to pull your front up or push your back forward to pull your front up, right? So that covers the rooting. Distance of your feet, you want your feet to be about, if you're standing here and you make your feet go out about 90 degrees, somewhere between, not a little bit past 45 or 90, and then open up, and your feet should be perfectly straight. This is one of those standing meditations where your feet are going to be perfectly straight. You don't want them out. If your feet are out at all, that's wrong. And when I do this for a long period of time, I'll even point them in just very slightly so that when I do flex the glute and open the quad, that the twisting eventually, after, if you're standing for like an hour or two, you want to make sure that your feet are going to be locked into a straightforward position. If you start them straight forward and then open your quad and apply that pressure for an hour or two, they're going to be pointing out, and you may experience some discomfort in your knees. We're obviously trying to avoid that. So don't just point them straight for a long period. If you're only there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even up to like 30 minutes, it's okay if they're a little bit not perfect, but you want them straight because this is how you're going to balance yin and yang. All right, so that covers the core of what we're going to do. You're going to make sure that, and your groin quad is not the one I'm talking about. I'm more worried about your upper quad and your armpit, so that your upper body, your torso can communicate, your hands with your organs, with your brain, with your heart. All these things are coming more and more common knowledge in Western medicine. And that's what we're more or less reaching towards here. So we got the structure. We know where you want your weight at. You know how to lean forward or back if you feel too much pressure in your shin or your calves. And also to make sure you try rocking up. Don't ever, if you feel that pressure in your calves or in your shins, don't go right for the lean one way or the other. Go for the pulling up of the quad because it's more than likely that. And as you pull up on your quad or push into your quad, then recenter yourself. So you don't just necessarily want to go forward or backwards to get the perfect spot with the weight. You want to kind of pull up into the front and pushing into the back and then reroute as you're doing that. So almost like drop while you're pushing or pulling. Yeah? So that covers feet distance, that covers having them straight, how to recenter if you're getting off balanced, and hips, waist. Now we're going to get into the gaits. So as soon as you bring your knees down and squat slightly, and you flex your glute and open the quad, you'll notice your lower back kind of straightens out. It goes from this natural curve to this straight position, and that's going to be opening the first gate. Your second gate will be opened as you lift your arms and allow your chest to hollow, and then your third gate will open here in the back of the neck as you rock it forward. Don't lean your head forward. You kind of like just pivot it on its own axis and go forward like this. Okay. So, and your knees should be bent the whole time, and it should be slightly uncomfortable. But the reason this is step 2 in the 6-step process is because doing this for, I would say, 15 minutes. Some people say 30 minutes morning and night. Obviously, if you're a hardcore Kung Fu practitioner, you want to do like an hour morning or night. And then but I've seen a result with 15 minutes. 15 minutes a day, and especially if it's your first time doing this, especially when we get to the opening the armpit qua, it may be all you need, and you're going to feel yourself rebalance. And what I mean by balancing yin and yang, if you're too high energy, after you do this for 15 minutes, you'll be calm. If you're too low energy, after you do this, you will feel a little bit more alert. You're not going to be like energetic, but you won't feel lethargic anymore. All right. So that covers that. And again, as you do it, you're kind of your spine. Try to do like as you're raising up, everything kind of just there's 3 gates in the back, just open right up as you see your whole spine just gets straight. And you can't see it because of my shoulder blades and muscle and stuff, but my spine from neck to here is completely straight. And I actually practice straightening my spine at home with lowering my back and stuff if I'm just sitting watching TV. So if you can see my knees, so say you're going into your stance, feet perfectly straight, flex the quad, and that's what you should be having. Feel the pressure right where it should be in the front of the heel, pulling up on the quad, pushing into it at the same time. All right, so now we have those covered. Now let's talk about the armpit quad, because that's really important. I actually had my right armpit quad sealed shut for I don't know how long. We'll just say longer than I can track. I was having issues with doing long standing meditations, sweating profusely on one side of my body and being bone dry on the other, and eventually I figured out this is what the problem was. And it also brought some psychological alleviation uh, to my training and everything. So you'll notice your armpit quad. The best way to notice it when you're standing in your stance and you have your arms up, you don't have to do anything special. Just bring your arms up. Um, the best way to experience a quad, if your arms are out as far as you can, relax everything, feel everything dripping, all your muscle skin dripping off your body, kind of, right? You're gonna kind of try to push your arms down while relaxing. Like you're as relaxed as you can. Now use your shoulders and just kind of push. Like use your arms to imagine you're pushing your frame down. And as you feel your shoulders try to push your frame down, you'll feel something in your armpit open up, and you'll feel it run all the way up your arm, right? Okay. So you're here for that. And the best way to experience this and to open this up is to do 5 minutes in the mother position, 5 minutes in the father position, and then and then you always want to close in the lower daughter position. I say 5 minutes, but it's actually a third of whatever the time you're doing. So if you're up here for 30 minutes, you're going to drop down here for 15 minutes of your total time, not your time up here, your total time. So 10, 10, 10, 5, 5, 5. All right. And every time you're doing this, you do want to be kind of extended, but you also want to be relaxed. So you want to feel the pressure in your fascia and in your ligaments, but you also don't want it to inhibit you from being able to just hang there. All right, so there's 2 ways to do this. Now that I've covered how to do it, so if you've watched it this far, you know how to open your quad and rebalance your chi. Feet straight, a little bit about hip width or a little bit more, shoulder width a little bit more, and then to have the 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, and for these, you're gonna wanna, we'll cover that right now, but that's all you gotta do to get your quad open. You'll feel it, especially when you're here for 5 minutes, if you're hanging right, and you get that sensation. And again, feel out that armpit quad. Have your arms hanging, and try to push your frame down with your arms as relaxed as can be, your body as relaxed as can be. Take your shoulders and try to push your whole body, your torso down with just your shoulders. You'll feel something flex up as you're pushing down. Same thing with here. Doesn't matter what position you're in, you'll feel it. Almost the same muscles you would use to flex your chest, but you don't want to focus on flexing your chest. You want to try to push your torso down with your arms. Okay, so if you're dealing with a quad issue, the best way to know when to get it open is to kind of not push this to an extreme, but you'll do it differently than you would traditionally. Because traditionally, you're going to have a circle here. See how I got a circle in my hands? You have a circle here, and then you'll switch to a circle here, and then you'll switch to a circle here. But if you need to push something open, like, and I had to force mine open, you're going to want to do something more like this. You're going to have it like you're holding two posts, like you're sitting back and holding two posts, trying not to fall back. But don't focus too much on that stance, because what I really want you to focus on is this line right here, and really pushing it out like something's trying to squeeze you and crush you, and you have to stop it, and you really just want this line to be the contact going down the index finger here across the elbow and then up here, and really push that out and then relax, and push it out and relax, and push that out and relax, and then just hang there for about 5 minutes, and you'll feel interesting sensations in your hands. I don't want to tell you what I feel because it could take away from what you could feel. But you see this little small triangle here? This is one of the things that I want you to notice, that line, how it's a small triangle, it's not a circle, and lining your pinky up to this. You should see a straight line right here, where my thumb connects to my hand and where the pinky is. All right, so you got a triangle, small triangle there, and then the line up here. So you'll hold that for about 5 minutes. And again, really feel that push on this outer edge the whole time. Really push, push. Don't push it, just feel that that's where your contact is. You want to be hanging, but you want to make sure that those ligaments and nerves are engaged. All right, after that, and again, about 5 minutes here. If you can only do 2 minutes, do 2 minutes. Do 3 minutes, do 3, 3, and 3. However you can do it to get up to 15 is all you need, medically speaking, to be able to make yourself healthier, both physically and psychologically from this. So you have a line here, a little triangle here. Now we're going to turn it. You're going to go to here. And this one too, we have some little lines. You see a nice little triangle here. Notice there's another line here now going from index. So where it was pinky to where the thumb meets, now it's going to be index to where the pinky meets. Just like that. Relax these fingers. Have your index finger erect. And for your thumb, you're going to be about here. There's multiple ways to do this, but we're going to go by the WTBA standard of having the line here, which is just a little bit of pressure, not pulling, but enough to feel it activated. And if you want to know more about this stance, go on to taijiworld.com, and there are free videos and paid videos that you can buy some more about this. It's the 3-point posture, or Zhang Zheng stance. This is my take on it after my 20 plus years of experience in these things. Okay, so again, we're here, number one. Got the line up, you're pushing here, little triangle. You're going to come here. Same thing, just a light triangle, but with your index finger lining up to where your pinky meets, here. And push this one. This one again. I want this impact point to be here. Imagine you're stopping something from crushing you, but only with this point in your palm, here. Right? So you'll push, stop from being crushed, hang on your body. Push, hang on your body. Push, then hang on your body, then sit there for about 5 minutes and get used to this stance and really feel that pressure in here, and you'll feel that quad open up. And if you don't, push the shoulders down like I was saying. You're hanging here, try to use your arms to push your whole torso down, just like that. And you'll feel something open up in your armpit. As you push down, you'll feel something go up into your armpit. That is your quad opening, and you need that for proper energetic transmission into your arms. And all those blockages will cause a negative psychological effect if you don't have them open. All right, so that covers two. Now to the last one, you're going to drop down. And then typically you're just going to do this. This one's hard to almost do wrong because your body falls into it so perfectly. This is your lower daughter position. All right, so you're going to be here, and it's the same thing. Now for this one, if you're doing it for the extreme version, you want to kind of like you're bumping something off of yourself, right? But again, you want to push and then relax. You don't want to stay in any of these pushes. This is where you want to feel the main channeling of the energy. So you're going to push and then just let it hang. And this one, again, you have a very simple triangle pointing down this time. And again, this one is more about the push up and out than it is about the down. This is the downside of doing Qigong in a park. You got to deal with things like that sometimes, but it's okay. Hopefully I didn't disrupt you too much. And you want to come out like that, and get that bump out, and then relax. But feel that pressure, feel that nerve push, and feel the nerves firing through there as you're hanging down. All right. So if you're starting and you're having the quad issues, or you want to really get these nerves, like I actually have nerve damage here is how I found this. But being able to channel this has really helped me to be able to figure out how to open my quad, and then how to be able to understand this transition to keep my quad open. All right. So again, you're gonna push, hang. It's 5 minutes later, you'll push, hang. Drop it down here, push, hang. Don't emphasize on these pushes. I can't stress that enough. I don't want you to stay pushing the whole time. If you're having a particular nerve issue, you may need to subterfuge some energy there by focusing and doing something like that. But particularly, I just want you to engage the quad, engage the nerves and the line of energetic transfer, and then hang. All right, and then in closing, we'll do this. I'll show you 2 ways to close because some people can't do it. One way to close is you're going to put your hands right over left for women, left over right. I'm sorry, right over left for men, left over right for women. And you're going to squat down 3 times. And as you squat down, breathe into your lower dantian, and then come up. Right, and then you'll swirl it like twisting a bread bag close. Give it a little tap, but not too much. Rub your kidneys, rub your hands, rub your face, rub your ears, rub the top of your head, rub your hands, and that's it. If you're doing it the WTBA way, we'll go ahead and cover that. So you'd be down here in your lower position, and then to close, you've done your 5 here, you've done your 5 here, you're on your 5 here. At the last minute, when you're done, you're going to bring your hands up to the side, out to the front, stand up, but don't lock your knees, keep them bent behind your waist. You want your hands to rest on your coccyx. With, again, if you're a male, you want your left on the inside. Female, you want your right on the inside. Then you'll lift your leg. Start with your right. Breathe into your lower abdomen. Sit as high as you can. And then pull up even higher. And then set it down. And keep breathing in the whole time. Breathe into the lower abdomen. Breathe into the lower abdomen. And then set it down. You'll do this 5 times. As high as you can. I'm only going to do it 3 times to show you. And again, straight up in front of you, as far as you can. Even further, keep breathing in the lower dantian, and then set it down. One more, lift as high as you can, lift as high as you can, and then set down. Breathe into the lower dantian, keep lifting, keep breathing in the lower stomach, keep lifting, and then set down, breathe out. And if it's your 5th one, release your wrists, breathe in, breathe out. Now, lower dantian, you may not know what that is, so I go with the 4 fingers. If you're touching your belly button, 4 fingers down approximately here. The best way to find out where your lower dantian is, stand in this meditation as long as you can until you get to the 15-30 minute mark, and eventually you'll feel heat start emanating in there like a ball. And that's where your lower dantian is. And you can pinpoint exactly where it is and where you feel those sensations. And you can, tell me exactly where it is. But this is, again, I can't tell you exactly where it is on your body. I don't know how big your space is. People have bigger and smaller torsos, so I hate the standard you hear 2 fingers under, it's 3 fingers under, it's 4 fingers under. I say touch the actual belly button, and it's right about there. And I'm going off of what I felt the last time I had a bunch of heat in my lower dantian. And it's just a store space. When you're doing your breathing, make sure when you're breathing, not only do you have your tailbone tucked to have your lower gate open, but you want to make sure that you feel your kidneys expand. Typically, if you're building energy and not just cleaning quad, sometimes if you want to practice on your Hu Yin breathing, you can do that here and let your kidneys expand and your dantian and your Hu Yin cavity at the same time. But typically you want to have your Hu Yin cavity sealed, and you can feel it when you don't just stop, squeeze the urinary muscles, squeeze the pooping muscles, and somewhere in between, when you practice breathing into that space and compressing those muscles, you'll feel a cavity in between that space. And eventually, if you do it enough, you'll learn how to control that cavity by itself. But for all intention purposes, you just kind of seal that area if you're new to all this. But if you know how to compress your Hu Yin cavity, then compress your Hu Yin cavity. Do not let your ribs expand. When between the Hu Yin cavity and this is what's called keeping the vase sealed. Right, so you seal the bottom of the vase by closing the Hu Yin cavity. You seal the top of the vase by keeping the ribs pressed. Don't let your ribs expand, even if you're doing reverse breathing. If anything, your upper back should expand because there's a little space there where it can expand. There's a video on this channel about that. So, covered the vase, hollowing the chest. So, when you're here, don't necessarily push your chest in. You'll feel yourself as you get into that stance and you tuck and you're relaxed, as soon as you lift your arms, you should feel your chest kind of empty out a little bit. If you're not flexing, if you're fully relaxed, you'll feel yourself just, mm, you'll feel something go there. And if not, then imagine that you're holding a big ball against yourself. And again, don't push your chest back, just feel the ball. Just feel yourself holding a big ball. And you should feel like you're holding a big ball. But as you see, my chest is not from here, lowering, opening the first gate, opening the second gate with that slight push. I didn't so much push my chest back as I just kind of imagined I was here, and I just imagined there's like a little ball there. So you're not. It's really hard to explain the middle one. You're kind of wrapping yourself around the ball. You don't want to push back as opposed to, one, two. That same thing with the quad that I was talking about when you push down, it's like a light version of that. So as soon as you get here, if you push your shoulders down into your torso and imagine that you're holding a ball, your body will naturally go into that holding a ball in the upper pleural cavity there, and you'll feel your chest hollow out slightly. And that's what they mean by that. And then, of course, you have the third gate when you tuck the chin in. And again, it's not about tucking anything specifically or pushing in a certain direction. You just got to kind of pivot it. It's on a rocker, and you're just going to kind of rock it forward. So again, you're standing here. Let's do the whole thing. Feet out, approximately 90, but doesn't have to be. Drop into that space, pull up on the front, the iliopsoas, tuck under, feel the quad open. Right, now your first gate's open, raise up. Feel that ball you're holding against your chest. Help you open up. Tuck the head. You're right there. And that's it. That's all you're going to do. And you're going to stand here just like this when you feel that rooting shift. Remember, don't always lean forward or back first. Try to pull up on your iliopsoas and push the quad open. And then move forward or backwards. You're going to do 5 minutes here. If you're doing the extreme, you'll go here. With the pinky lining up there, like I said. If you're going extreme here, you'll go here. And then you're going extreme, you'll go here. And just hang. Let yourself hang off your body while you feel those nerves stimulated. There's a huge difference between feeling those nerves stimulated and pushing, like I was saying. You don't want to be pushing. You want to push just to know what it feels like when they're stimulated, then relax. Feel the stimulation and everything falling off of your body. Get the push, feel the push, and then feel yourself hanging. Feel the push, then feel yourself hanging. If you're doing this traditionally or just for cycling energy, you want to do the circles version where you're going to be doing circles, just like this, big circles, right? Your palm should not be any more than shoulder width, so don't be, some people go out here, some people like to be out here. No, just shoulder width, just a little bend. Here you go, shoulder width. Next circle. This one should either be at middle dantian level right here, or it should be elevated. If you need it up, then point it at your lower dantian, or at your middle dantian, right? So here, this circle's right in front of you. You turn here, should either be right in front of your dantian or slightly up and angled out. If you need more quad opening, then go up and angle the circle at your middle dantian here. And then lower here, you're going to have right here over top of your lower dantian. Right there. Right? So circles, 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 circle. And then you'll close, as I said. And again, if you can't do the one where you raise your leg, but try the one where you raise your leg, because I had an issue where my hip has popped for years doing kick training or anything. And doing that, actually somehow doing because this will actually reposition your structure. You may notice your body over time, things will be shifting and changing because your body is now in a energetically and structurally sound position, and it's going to readjust things to be able to function better. And I actually had a 20-year, 15, 20-year hip issue go away just from doing this. And when I first started, my hip would pop, just like when I throw high roundhouses, my hip goes pop really loud when it resets into place for whatever reason my whole life. And from doing this, I've had to readjust my foot here and there and practice doing it like this and doing it like that. But eventually now when I do it, my hip doesn't pop anymore. And like, that's stinking miraculous. Like, I don't know how I lucked out to find something that was so structurally resetting like this, but I did, and it's been greatly beneficial. So I'm getting eaten alive here by gnats, but it's okay. I really wanted to get this video out to you guys. So that's it. That's it for step 2. You know everything that I know about the known as Northern Janjung stance or 3-point posture. I was going to call it something like, like 3006 circles. Everyone's like, it's 3 circle, it's 3-point, it's hugging the tree. But in case you don't know this about acupuncture and the meridian system, there is 2,000 points over your body, technically speaking, where the energy centrifuges back into your body. And then they have, you know, the entrance of 1,000 points here. That's 3,000. And as far as the circles go, it's really interesting because they call it 3 circle, but there's really a lot more than that, because if your feet are perfectly straight, the outsides of your feet should slightly make a circle, and the insides of your feet. And then of course you have a circle here. Uh, you have your circle here. Well, technically it runs this way, but the internal one runs this way. That'll be another video. And then of course you have the circle here, and then you have the circle here. So I kind of laugh these days when someone call it 3 circle or three circle posture, because there's a lot more than 3 circles that you're subterfusion energy within the body. So I know I got a little carried away there at the end, but I hope this covered everything you want to know about Zhang Zheng. I may leave comments on here for a while if you have any questions, but there shouldn't be any questions after this. You know, so if you're going for an extreme, this is not classical Zhang Zheng, but if you need to subterfuge energy here for nerve reasons or to push that quad open, by all means, get that extra push. Get the extra push, get the extra push, and then let it hang. Otherwise, just go as far as you can comfortably and let it drip. Don't push with these ones when you're just relaxing with the regular circles. All right. So that's it for step 2 of 6 steps to becoming a Qigong Yoga expert. The next one will be Sun He Guanyin Gong, which is going to be like a mini dissertation on all of Qigong and Chinese medicine. But thanks for stopping by the Broken Buddha. Peace and blessings.